Some of the biggest financial problems I see are not caused by a bad stock market. They're caused by something much simpler: disorganization. Accounts everywhere, old retirement accounts forgotten about, old retirement plans forgotten about as well, beneficiaries that haven't been reviewed in years, life changes, kids, wife, husband, changes happen. No trust, no central plan, no one in the family knows where anything is. Everything seems fine until suddenly it's not. And we've had a couple of recent client situations that illustrate exactly why this matters. We recently brought on a client whose family had gone through an incredibly frustrating estate situation. Their family member passed away without everything properly being organized and structured. The family then had to figure out where are the accounts, where are the assets, who holds them, what paperwork exists, what happens next. Took them roughly a year and a half to track down various accounts and assets. And even after all that work, they're still not completely sure they found everything. That's the part that gets me. You can spend 30 or 40 or 50 years building something, and if there's no organization behind it, the next generation may be left trying to reconstruct your entire financial life after you're gone. Yowza. Meanwhile, they're already grieving. Now they're dealing with financial institutions, paperwork, attorneys, courts, probate, and potentially probate expenses on top of that delay. Depending on the state and circumstances, probate and estate administration can create meaningful costs and delays. And a lot of that headache can potentially be reduced through proper estate planning, beneficiary designation, account organization, and when appropriate, a properly established trust. That's why we talk about this stuff. It's not because trusts are exciting. They're not. It's because your family shouldn't need to become financial detectives after you die. Where's the account? But disorganization doesn't only become a problem after death. We just had another great example involving retirement accounts. We brought on a client who had worked as a teacher in Missouri. Her and her husband have done very well growing their business, which has given her the flexibility to step back from working and enjoy the business and grow that. She had retirement assets from her teaching career that she wanted to roll over and consolidate. Pretty straightforward, except the process took about 2 months. Now, thankfully, we're working through this while we're planning ahead. But imagine waiting until you desperately need the access to something before discovering how difficult it is to move. That's why I'm such a big believer in getting your financial house organized before retirement. Back here. Think about a typical successful family. Maybe you worked for one company for 7 years, another for 12, then you started a business. Maybe you've got an old 401k, a 403b, 2 IRAs, a brokerage account, bank accounts, life insurance, a spouse with another retirement plan. Maybe an inheritance comes along. Eventually, you can end up with financial accounts scattered everywhere. Each individual decision may have made perfect sense at the time, but 25 years later, nobody ever stepped back and looked at the entire picture. That's where comprehensive wealth management becomes incredibly valuable. Our philosophy is that investments are only one piece of the financial picture. We want to understand, what do you own? Where is it? How is it invested? What are you paying? What are the tax consequences? Where will your retirement income come from? Who are the beneficiaries? What happens to these assets when you die? And does your family actually know this entire machine and how it works? Then we start simplifying where it makes sense. That doesn't mean every account should be automatically rolled over or consolidated. There can be investment, tax, creditor protection, plan feature, and other considerations that have to be evaluated first. But there should be a reason for every account you own. That's the difference between simply collecting financial products throughout your life and actually having a plan and mapping it out. And there's another piece of our business that has become increasingly valuable as we've grown. We're independent. Today we have relationships with approximately 427 investment firms across America, giving us access to a broad universe of investment strategies, managers, resources. I love it. I'm careful about how I talk about that because nobody should be promising you investment performance. Markets don't work that way, but what that breadth gives us is choice and flexibility. We're not limited to saying, here's our company investment lineup, pick one. We can evaluate different strategies based on what we're actually trying to accomplish for that particular client. Someone who's 42 years old and aggressively accumulating wealth has very different needs than somebody who's 68 and needs their portfolio to generate retirement income. A business owner preparing to sell a company has a different planning consideration than a teacher rolling over a retirement account. A family receiving a multi-million-dollar inheritance has different needs than somebody just starting to build wealth. The strategy should change because the person has changed. And that's really the bigger point of all these stories. Good wealth management isn't simply asking, what investment should I buy? It's asking, how does everything work together? Investments, retirement planning, income taxes, estate planning, trusts, beneficiaries, risks, and ultimately your family. Because the goal isn't to accumulate a pile of financial accounts. The goal is to build a financial life that's organized, intentional, and understandable. So here's a simple exercise. Write down every financial account you have, every retirement account, every investment account, every bank account, every insurance policy, every major asset. Then ask yourself the questions. Do I know why I still have each one? Does my spouse or family know where all of this is? And if something happens to me tomorrow, will they know exactly what to do? If the answer is no, that's something worth fixing while you're healthy, alive, and completely capable of making those decisions yourself. Don't wait for retirement, don't wait for an emergency, and definitely don't make your family spend a year and a half trying to figure it out for you. Financial detectives. Get organized, build the plan, and keep updating it as your life changes. That's what comprehensive financial wealth planning is supposed to do. If this resonates, book a call. The link's pinned. God bless you and your family.